You're listening to Drinks and a Movie with your host, Rudy. Spoiler alert.
Here we go. Welcome to Drinks and Movie Podcast, everybody. We are back. Carissa's here co-hosting with me again, continuing our kind of Scream watch through. Today we're going to be talking about Scream 3 from the year 2000. Starring the same cast of characters, but adding some people like Parker Posey and Lance Henriksen, a little cameo from Roger Corman, and Patrick Dempsey, who I always forget is in this movie.
I was shocked. I was like, what the heck is going on? This was actually kind of funny. Very soap opera of him to be there. I loved it.
Yeah. And so before we get into the movie, though, let's go ahead and do our drink for the evening. I'll pour you just a little bit of this.
Yes.
Shout out to Danny over at Canyon City Liquor in Azusa. Came through. I got a EH Taylor Straight Rye, everybody, from Buffalo Trace. You know, this is one of those, like most Buffalo Trace products, one of those bottles that's pretty difficult to come by. And when you do, it's often over. Oh, that was probably a lot. I'll just drink whatever's
deal. It's a rye. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, 100 proof bottled at Bottle and Bond. Yeah, here we go.
All right.
Yeah, sorry, I even spilled it too. My bad.
No, you're
that was
good.
A very unpro pour. Oh man, it smells good though.
It does. It has kind of honey.
I can take that, like honey, like definitely like the rye punching through. What else we got in here? Like it just for sure like the classic rye notes, like the your allspice, your I don't want to say cinnamon. I think honey was a pretty good note though. Like actual rye itself definitely has that in the mix. But yeah, let's go for it. Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, that's good. Definitely matches the palate. Sorry, a little bit of that honey, allspice, like actual rye. A little hint of a mintiness on kind of the back end, just like a tiny bit, right? Not too much because I don't like my rice too minty. But with that mintiness, did come out a little bit of a sweetness. You know, I think I'll compare it to like a mint ice cream, like a chocolate chip mint ice cream, like a little bit of a
it gives you that feel.
Creamy vanilla-ish, you know? Mm.
Oh, this stuff is too strong for me.
Yeah, that's good. Dang.
That actually is good. It's actually nice. And like it kind of opens up in your mouth. It's like, okay.
Yeah, so EH Taylor Rye, I will say of the Taylors I've tried, this is definitely my favorite historically. So I'm happy to have one. And yeah, go check out Canyon City Liquor in Azusa, California if you happen to be like near that area. Daddy's really cool and very knowledgeable, and they got good stuff on there. They got a great Old Forester single barrel store pick and an Elijah Craig barrel proof store pick that are hitters, so I would suggest that. They also have Old Forester 1924 on the shelf, so you know you can go grab one of those if you're in the market for it.
Thanks.
I gotta wait for my next paycheck before I do that.
How much is it?
Like 140, like the SRP I think is 120. I don't remember. So it's not like it's too much over.
Yeah, but it's up there.
Yeah. But it's just there on the shelf. They got a few of them for what I saw. So go grab them. But yeah, here we go, man. Scream 3.
Hello.
Hello. Do you like scary movies?
Number 1, the body count is always bigger. Number 2, the death scenes are always much more elaborate.
What do you know about trilogies?
All I know about movie trilogies is that in the third one, all bets are off.
Hello, Sydney. Welcome to the final act.
Don't panic.
So just a quick synopsis. I don't know if you read the IMDb one, but it's also trash just like the other two. But this follows, I guess a couple years later, there's a movie being made. It's Stab 3, you know, Stab like in the movie behind, like being made in the movie. And now they're doing essentially like kind of redoing the original movie kind of. And yeah, I don't know, but now they're in Hollywood. So this one takes place in Hollywood. That's pretty cool.
Hollywood, baby. I loved it.
Did you like this one?
I actually really liked this one. I thought this one was fun, and I thought this was like the perfect way to kind of poke fun at itself the way it's been doing. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, like when everybody's like, oh, the meta, the this, that, the other. I thought the idea to do this, it was a really, really, really fun idea. Storyline, wow, that got kind of crazy.
Yeah, to me, it becomes a little too much and kind of convoluted. But they do say in the rules when like Randy has his video, which I thought was funny.
I love that.
They found a way to like get Jamie Kennedy back into the movie, and he just like the trilogy. It's like you always go back to the beginning, and it has something to do with what like started the whole kind of story here. And obviously, we're gonna go into spoilers as always. I'm gonna jump kind of to the ending right now. Well, before that, I do like this one as well. And I think it might be the funniest of all the movies.
It definitely has a very lighthearted, fun, silly kind of tone. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And this was the first time I realized, I think we talked about this a little bit when we talked Scream 2, that Kevin Williamson did not write this one. I guess he made an outline and he couldn't do it. And they got like Aaron Kruger, I think is the name of all names, to write it. And supposedly he like just kind of ignored the outline and did his own thing, and Wes Craven had to do a lot of rewrites himself on it to make sure the characters were consistent. So that is interesting, and I think knowing that, you do kind of get a sense of that difference just a little bit. I mean, tonally and like the whole kind of meta idea is still there, of course. But also along with that, I was reading that because this was around the time of like Columbine, or like soon after, that was part of why they toned down a lot of the violence. And it is the least bloody of all the movies. And you don't see a lot of like the stabs and all that stuff happen. They like seem to cut away from that. So that kind of added to just why this movie kind of had a bit of a shift, which is pretty interesting. I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. They kind of wanted to go. And, at that time, because of the Columbine situation, there was even further talk and discussion about video games and movies and violence. And does that, like, what they were talking about in the first movie, like, does it create violent people and all that stuff? And I guess that's probably always been a topic in horror throughout the decades. But I think in the 90s, just movies in general, it really kind of popped up maybe. But yeah, so that's something interesting. And actually, before I go to the ending, I want to talk about the opening. I do think this is like a really good opening. It's obviously is like kind of the similar beat of they're in the house, they get the phone call, scary movies, whatever. But it's I don't know. I think it's just such a good update to kind of the formula, and to start it with the Cotton Weary character,
I love
Lee
that,
Schreiber, and introduce the idea of the killer Ghostface is able to like mimic everyone's voices, so they don't know who's who and what's what. I thought the suspense in that scene was really well done, actually, and the fact that like his girlfriend does get killed, it's like no holds barred, and that they kill him like right out the gate. I know, because they like built him up.
What the heck? Like he's finally famous. He's not gonna get to enjoy it. He's finally the good guy, and this is what he wanted the entire time. And they literally just off him at the beginning. But that's kind of like. It's kind of funny that they did that because, in the first movie, they forget, you have like the famous Tribune where she gets off right away, not even in it. Right. And then we have Cotton and he's just off right away, not even in it. I'm like, damn, they really did him like that.
Yeah, it was a good update to where now it's not like you're just, doing the kind of Janet Leigh situation to a famous actress, but it's like, oh, you're taking one of the characters that just got built up who was pretty much the hero of the last movie and then just whacking him in the beginning. Yeah. So I did like that aspect of it. And of course, just the movie side of it, of them being on set, Roger Corman has a cameo and you have Lance Henriksen. Basically, I'm not going to say he's basically like he's the producer, but he's the big horror producer guy. And, this is a Weinstein movie. And I'm sure they even say as much where it's like, oh, when Rita Reynolds or whatever, we used to have these crazy parties and, whatever happened, was by choice and all that shit. It's like pretty
It's like,
crazy,
wow, you watch it now and you're like, wait a second. And even the star, she's like, I did not sleep with him to be some D-list or B-list celebrity. I was like, oh, damn. This shit aged really kind of wild, huh? Because
they all knew. Everybody knew. Yeah, everybody knew what they were doing in Hollywood. That's what's funny about that show that I edit with those two girls that like talk about the golden era of Hollywood and how wholesome it was back then. And I'm like, you guys don't know.
They be literally, that's
you know
crazy.
how much debauchery was going on back then? Like probably more than even now. You know what I mean?
100%. And they got away with it. Like they got
it was
away
all
with
normal. And like you can see interviews with like, you know, Shirley Temple and these people talking about like crazy shit they had to deal with from like higher up men and stuff. But I guess it's neither here nor there. But I do like the kind of, you know, the movie studio setting and that we have the replicas of the original house. I thought that was all interesting. And how all these actors are like playing the characters in the movie or, you know, playing the whatever.
And they're trying to like, oh God, I love when they're like, oh my gosh, they're meeting all the people and they're like trying to like get these roles or they're trying to like think of like their characters. They're going through the thing. And I'm like, bro, give it a rest. Give it a rest.
Going to the end of the movie now, I just want to talk about that opening, but now going to the end, I mean, how did you feel about the reveal of the killer in this one? When I first saw it, I was like, oh, really? And like, it's, like a half brother. I don't know. How'd you feel about that?
So, I mean, with how these movies are, I just kind of take them as very, almost, and it was kind of funny that Patrick Dempsey was in this, but I'm like, it's almost like kind of like a soap opera. Like, you know what I mean? Like the long lost brother comes back. And I understand they had to think of some way to tie in the entire storyline. But it's just, I didn't think it was very realistic at all because it's like, well, how did you know all of this would play out? You didn't. It all played out this way. And then like, you know, it's just so out there and unrealistic. But I will, you know, watch this movie and take it for what it is.
Yeah.
You know, it was just a little bit too much, a little bit over the top, a little bit like, okay, come on. Like, this really makes no sense or whatever, you know?
Yeah. And that is where you can tell it was just a matter of like, oh, shit, the second movie did even better than the first. We got to keep making them, you know, and that's especially with the horror film franchise. It's like, yeah, we're going to just drag it out as much as we can and make the sequels bigger budgets, bigger, you know, box office return. So yeah, they had to kind of figure something out. But I guess in the sense of just like what the movie is about, though, it also kind of works. Because there's a lot of other, you know, like, hey, Return of the Jedi is one of those too. Like people forget that George Lucas, when he did the original trilogy, it wasn't planned out. Like he just had the first movie and we think it's planned because it happened to do really well and they did a good job telling the story, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is another one of those situations. I mean, hey, Godfather Part 3, obviously not part of the plan. But yeah, it's funny. I want to read this real quick because, you know, I think it sounds like we both agree that so far, I mean, we still got 3 movies ago. That this one, 4,
There's
5, 6.
3 more?
Yeah.
Well, I know 4. There's 2 more out. There's a 5 and a 6. Oh my God.
Yeah, sorry. You thought you were off the hook after this.
Oh my God.
But so I thought this review was interesting. It's just a random one I happened to read on IMDb. So this was from, someone wrote this in 2010. They say, Red Identity says this. Scream 3 does not have the same writer of the first 2, which explains the lack of comedy it had compared to the first 2 Scream films. I was like, oh, interesting.
Interesting.
It does not have the same great dialogue as the first 2, nor the witty and playful tone. However, saying that, Scream 3 is probably still better than 95% of slasher films today. It has suspense and mystery, and although it sometimes goes overboard with how the script handled the actual history of Maureen Prescott, agree with that, I think it overall works well. Neve Campbell once again gives it all she has, and the supporting characters are actually well-rounded, especially Parker Posey. I did like her a lot.
I did too.
I always forget that she's in this too.
I know.
It seems kind of random.
A ton of stuff. That's crazy.
Parker Posey, which gives the film its much-needed humor. David Arquette and Courtney Cox are both solid, but I cannot help but question how much their characters, or maybe their motivation as actors, change, since it really does seem that both feel awkward in a lot of scenes. I suspect it is the writing since a lot of their brilliant dialogue from Scream 2 was missing. Saying that, and while it is true that it is the weakest of the trilogy, it is still a lot of fun and does have its clever moments here and there. I do not think there can ever really be a bad Scream film. I agree with some of those aspects, but yeah, I just thought it was interesting that they felt it was the least funny, the least humorous of the three. Because
that's wild because it felt like the lightest. It felt like it was like the most. I don't know. It just seems. Maybe it's like the sense that it just seems so over the top.
Yeah.
And nobody's really taking anything seriously. Like Parker Posey, she was one of my favorite characters because her like interactions with Gail, it's just comedic and it's just so like silly. You know what I mean? I'm just like, come on, guys.
They even go as far to, and I thought it was the funniest thing when you text me when you were watching it, when you were like, Jay and Silent Bob are in this movie.
It was like they're on like the studio tour and they're like, oh my Gail. I'm like,
it's
what
so
the hell?
random. Like I need to find out like how that came to be and why.
Why?
Because I don't know. I wonder if maybe Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back was shooting at the same time. Because I don't know if you've seen that movie, but like Wes Craven has a cameo in it where they're making another Scream movie. Do you remember that?
Oh my God, yes.
But the killer was the chimpanzee. So I wonder if maybe it was like they were shooting it at the same. They're both Miramax movies, you know. So maybe they were just shooting at the same time, so we throw them in here. I mean, it's super random.
And that's the thing. I'm like, how could this guy say this movie's not as funny? I mean, like Jay and Silent Bob are in Scream 3. Come on, you know. It was. I was just like, what? And when I was watching, I was like, what the fuck? I was like, Rudy, what is this? Like, what do you?
Well, and even there's that moment where Parker Posey and Gail Weathers go because they're trying to find out like who the Marine Press guy, where the photos come from. So they go to like the casting person, and it's Carrie Fisher.
Yeah,
and they're just like, "Oh, you look like," and she's like, "No, it's not me," or whatever. I could have played Leia, but I don't want to fuck George Lucas or whatever.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's just another kind of like random, weird, like just funny joke. Supposedly, originally they were trying to get Jamie Lee Curtis, I think, to do that part, which would have been great, and I can see that. Like, you know what I mean? If it would have been like, oh, you look like, oh yeah, no, I could have played, I could have been in Halloween, but but that is a good moment and just another interesting cameo,
like just kind of silly and fun, and just like, oh my gosh, it gives us that little.
But yeah, all in all, I mean. And they really do, again, they do a good job in these movies, and I'll say in the fourth one, I think, especially as the sequels go on, of finding ways to make everybody at some point be like a red herring, you know? Like everybody, they have their kind of red herring moment where they try to make it like, oh, obviously it's this person, but if you've seen these movies, it's not that obvious. So who's it going to be?
My biggest red herring for this was the actress who's going to play Sydney.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, obviously, because she's in the bathroom and like
with the boots and the mask.
Yeah. She's like, I just wanted to steal some props because the movie wasn't going to happen. Yeah. But I like that. And I love that she screamed that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and she dies like pretty abruptly too when her time comes. And same with Parker Posey. I mean, it's a good moment when she's behind the mirrors, and it's such a bummer because they were seconds away from saving her. Mm-hmm. And she was a very lovable character, but yeah, then when she's done, it's just, oh shit, yeah, she's off the board now. And one character I felt, another kind of big red herring was Kincaid, the Patrick Dempsey detective character.
Oh yeah, like how do you know all this?
Yeah,
I'm a movie buff.
She has like the file on her and all that. And there's even this moment where the partner's talking to him, and he's like he has a crush on her or something. So they really make it seem like it's gonna end up being him, like he's some obsessive guy. But ultimately, I felt like his character was just pretty useless. And besides that, like could have not been in it, even though he's like the detective.
Yeah, he didn't do anything.
Yeah, and even in the end, he just kind of shows up. Like it felt like they forgot about him.
Yeah, and
they're just, we got to bring him back and just have him get stabbed, and then he'll be there later in the movie. The ending shot too is kind of weird. I guess it's probably meant to be this way, but when they're at the house, everything's resolved, and then it's Dewey and Gail Weathers And then him, and he just like, we're about to watch a movie. Like, he's just part of the friend group now.
Right, like,
we're
are you guys dating? Like, what's going on?
It's pretty weird. But that final shot too, like the door opening, and then it's kind of artistic in a way, which is interesting. It's super artistic.
And I was like, wow. I was like, that did not end how I thought it was going to end, because I could have sworn something crazy would happen. You know what I mean? But it was just like, huh. I left it on a nice, positive, open note that she's opening doors, and now this guy's with her, and like now she's open to meeting people, and she's moving on. I'm like, wow, so much was said with this open door. She's not scared anymore.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
very
good last shot.
artistic. I like this one though. I did like it. This one, right now, my favorites out of the three, first and the third.
More than the second one. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I really liked the first. The third, I think, was just so like silly and fun. It was just like a fun watch. You know what I mean? And I don't know if that's what they necessarily, I'm sure they're going for it, but it was just like really, I don't know, just silly and fun. And then there's some parts that were kind of like actually like genuinely creepy, like when she goes into the house and it's like all staged in blood and everything.
Right.
And the person's in the body bag. And I was like, there's some like little scenes that are actually kind of scary. Not like scary, but like, ugh.
Yeah.
You know?
No, that's definitely one of them. I do like, my favorite kill just in terms of humor might be when the blonde chick, I forgot her name in the movie, but when she's supposed to meet the director and they're like running the lines.
Oh my gosh, she breaks his MTV music award. It's like just looking at your award.
But when she's just talking about, what I hate is that I'm 35 playing a 21-year-old and that I'm just like the first person to get killed and all that. And, we were talking about this in, I think it was our Friday the 13th remake episode about some of the actors that like get these gigs for certain reasons in their careers. Like you never really see them go anywhere after. Like you've got to be like super lucky to somehow surpass that. And it reminded me of that a little bit. And I love how she's talking about the script. And it's so true though, when it's like, when she's like, why do I have to be in the shower? That's been done. Like, well, why am I hate that I have to be like naked when this happens. Like, what's the point of that? And there's something that, she says, and then it ends up happening like in the actual kill scene. I forget what it is, but I just thought that was pretty funny. And again, true, right?
Yeah.
So true. Like that's like your sole purpose, in the movie. Yeah, no, I mean, this is a fun one. I don't have much else to say about it myself.
This one was really fun. I liked it.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see the other one now. But this one, like, made a little convoluted at the end, kind of crazy. And I'm just like, bro, I feel like the way they're going to tie in all these, like, the plots are just going to get crazier and crazier and crazier to tie in all these, like, killers doing the same thing. Right. So let's see what they got next. Yeah.
Yep. All right. Well, that's a wrap on this one, everybody. We'll see you again for Scream 4. Cheers.
Thank you for listening to the Drinks and a Movie podcast. You can now find us on Instagram at Drinks and a Movie Pod, where we'll be posting photos from all the various films that we discuss. You can also email us at drinksandamoviepod@gmail.com. Please rate, review, and subscribe, and thank you for listening.